Digital Citizenship Project Reflection by Melinda Chaney, iTech 7470, Spring 2025. My name is Melinda Chaney, and I'm a gifted education specialist at Rocky Mount Elementary School in Marietta, Georgia. I teach students in grades 1 through 5, and I've been at Rocky Mount for the past 15 years. I've been part of the Advanced Learning Program for the past 6 years. This is my online safety assessment. The action plan designed for Rocky Mount Elementary School in Marietta, Georgia. Rocky Mount Elementary is one of 66 elementary schools in the Cobb County School District. It is a traditional public school with an enrollment of just under 600 students at 585. The school serves students pre-K through 5th grade. Educational programs provided to students include a special needs preschool, an integrated autism class, early intervention programs, English language learner, and the Advanced Learning Program. The Rocky Mount student body is comprised of 64% white, 12% black, 10% Hispanic, 7% Asian, and 6% multiracial. Males comprise 51% of the population, while females are at 49%. At this time, only 5% of the student body are considered English language learners. The district provides one-to-one devices, as well as a Microsoft 365 account to every student and staff member. The Cobb County School District, like most school districts, outlines policies and procedures for technological use for both students and staff. The district does provide a digital citizen program for students. However, this is generally a 30 to 45-minute assembly presented by a member of the county technology department. The importance of not sharing personal information online, particularly with strangers, is reinforced. Students are exposed to examples of appropriate and inappropriate social media posts. While this is all a valuable introduction to online safety, a continuous program provided by local school staff would be more effective for students. Students have access to the Cobb County Teaching and Learning System, or CTLS, where they can access assignments and digital resources. Students are able to collaborate on projects and use their school email to communicate with teachers. In addition, individual teachers often provide links to educational websites, online games, and creative design tools. With so many resources available to them, it was determined that having a team of visible and identifiable online safety leaders within the school would be beneficial for promoting online safety for both students and staff members. Members of the team would have specific roles and responsibilities, such as providing students and staff with regular lessons about online safety, as well as the consequences of not following the policies. The goal of achieving online safety for students and staff is more likely to be achieved when everyone works together as a team. An initial survey was sent to the staff to identify interested committee members. It was decided that members should include a member of administration, the school counselor, a parent, and the technology training integration specialist. Once the team was in place, they established objectives and assigned roles. They reviewed current state and local policies, as well as any concerns raised by parents, students, and staff. The plan is for the committee to meet multiple times throughout the school year to evaluate concerns, digital safety curriculum, and provide guidance when dealing with online safety concerns. It is the goal of the committee to be a visible presence in the community where all members feel comfortable approaching them with their online issues. This will build a stronger awareness of online safety for our students. I was pleasantly surprised to discover that I could incorporate many of the resources I already use into my digital citizenship mini lessons. One of my favorite things I discovered were the digital citizenship characters created by Common Sense Education. I used the character feet to introduce the digital footprint, head to introduce ethics and legal issues, and heart to discuss empathy. They are perfect for elementary students. In the digital identity or digital footprint lesson, the objective was for students to recognize that a digital footprint is a permanent record of their online presence and determine the long-term effects this footprint has on their future endeavors. We first talked about what a footprint is, like what is something that can leave a trace, and what happens, what can you discover about someone or something based on what was left behind. We then examined examples of positive and negative footprints, so what can happen. The students played a game with cards, with matching cards. One student had a positive example and the other student had a negative example, and they had to find their partner to create that concrete understanding of what that digital footprint is. Then students were able to create their own physical product of a digital footprint by tracing their footprints, a left and a right. The left footprint had a negative consequence and the right footprint had a positive consequence. Our extension activities included creating a public service announcement or a skit about digital citizenship. The data privacy lesson. The objective for the data privacy lesson was that students will develop skills to protect themselves online and to learn to create a safe digital profile. We talked about examples of their data privacy invasion, and I was very surprised to learn that they already had an idea of some of the things that have happened. Some of them play online games and they talked about being hacked or being scammed. And they learned that they, shouldn't give anybody their password, not their brother, not their friend, only their parents should know that information. We watched a video about creating responsible and strong passwords, and then they were able to create superheroes. Their superheroes were their data privacy superheroes to protect them in the digital world. The extension activities included researching and promoting annual Data Privacy Day, which is January 28th, and creating a superhero comic strip. The objective for the online safety lesson was that students will recognize potential harmful or unsafe online situations. Students will discover and implement strategies to keep from becoming victims of harmful online activities. The students watched another common sense media video about online safety and tips to be able to create strong passwords. We also learned about some online safety ideas, and the students ranked them what they thought was in order of importance. We then explored some kid-friendly sites such as Kiddle and FactMonster, and then they created a Frayer model as an assessment to explain and show what a definition of online safety, an example, an illustration, and a non-example. Some of our extension activities for this lesson included completing the digital logic puzzle game, which is from Breakout EDU, which is a paid-for subscription, but provides students with a lot of critical thinking. They completed a Kahoot about online safety, and also had an opportunity to create a skit or role-playing. The objective for the ethics and legal issues lesson was that students will identify and properly cite credible sources and creative works, as well as define ethical online behavior. We started off by playing a game called Who Knew? You might know it as like 3 truths and a lie, but basically I had 5 facts about yourself, 4 are true and 1 is false, and all of them need to be believable. And the students try to develop criteria to try and determine which is true and which is false. We watched the digital citizenship video Head, talking about fact versus fake, and then discuss different sites that they go to when they are doing research and how to develop reliable criteria. We listened to a story called #Goldilocks, a Cautionary Tale, and they identified the ethical mistakes that Goldilocks made. Some of those extension activities included creating an infographic about either ethics and legal issues, holding a mock trial for Goldilocks, or having a debate about copyright and fair use issues. For our social responsibility lesson, the objective was to recognize that they have duties and responsibilities that exist not only with their in-person interactions, but online as well. They developed the skills and tools to assist them with these interactions. We talked about duties and responsibilities that they might have at home, And then we completed something called the Ring of Impact, which is part of a greater lesson that we do on empathy, where they look at how their actions affect themselves, their family, their community, the country, and then the world. They were given certain scenarios, and they had to explain how those scenarios fell into each level of that Ring of Impact. Our extension activities included student-created videos or a podcast about online social responsibility, a class blog, interviewing members of service organizations, and completing another digital logic puzzle called Fairy Tale. It was Fairy Tale Social Responsibility, and also discussing those with other members of the community. Finally, our empathy online mini lesson. The objective was that students will develop empathy skills and demonstrate these skills when interacting online in a variety of scenarios. We have an empathy activity called Empathy Stations. In this activity, the students rotate and they get to experience what it would be like to have difficulty with fine motor skills, what it would be like to have an artificial hands or arms, a visual perception, or a speech impairment. They create empathy, or we call it walking a mile in someone else's shoes. We then talk about things that they do online, gaming, chatting, social media posts, the types of things they like to share. Participate in a role-playing activity and how they would feel and react in those certain situations, what they would do, for example, if they discover a post where another person is being called names, or a fake account is being created, someone posing by a student, and what happens if there's untrue messages. Our extension activities include creating an infographic about online empathy, a superhero comic strip, a journal of online encounters, or completing a service project promoting empathy. Digital citizenship is more than just avoiding online predators, scammers, or cyberbullies. It is a responsibility that all of us as online users must ensure that we are providing safe and equitable access to technology. It is a tool that has long-lasting implications, and if used improperly, could cause irreparable harm. It is our job as educators to provide our students with the necessary information about how to be a responsible digital citizen. I was surprised at how many of my younger students had already encountered some type of the data privacy or safety issue. Students have a strong online presence and frequently interact with others when playing a game, socializing, or collaborating on a school project. It is important to explain and give concrete examples of responsible digital citizenship. I teach multiple grade levels. Rather than wait until they are older, I would start digital citizenship lessons with my kindergarten students and build upon that foundation as they continue through elementary school. I plan to incorporate digital citizenship lessons on a regular basis so that it becomes part of a natural part of our curriculum. I have become more aware of the many facets of digital citizenship, and I've acquired an abundance of new resources to share with my students and colleagues. This class prompted me to look at my role as an educator with a new perspective. Technology is a large component of our everyday lives, and our students rely upon us to help them navigate the ever-changing digital world. I enjoy discovering new resources, such as the digital citizen characters provided by Common Sense Education. I also developed a strong relationship with our technology training integration specialist, who assisted me in learning to use resources provided by our district. The more we incorporate digital citizenship into our current curriculum, the better prepared our students will be to navigate the digital world.